Hey, worship leader, welcome back to the channel. Today, I have a special guest with us, Spencer Cormany from Leading Worship Well. How's it going?
It's going well, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing good. I said your name right this time.
You did. I feel like in an Instagram story earlier, though, you said Spencer Cormandy.
Did
Maybe I
I?
just heard it wrong on Instagram.
I don't know, man. I think I learned my lesson, but
Oh, maybe.
I'm good. I'm glad those things those go away after 24 hours. It's just,
Yeah.
I may have made a mistake. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, welcome to the channel. Hey, worship leader. I created it for to be a resource for worship leaders, and so do you. That's why I want to have you on the channel, because you've made a resource that has been helpful to me as a worship leader. I've been using it the past few weeks, and that's why I want to share it with my community here. We talk about how to pastor people. We talk about gear, guitars, and pedals, but we also talk about how to lead your teams well. And this is something I've learned a lot from you. And so I want to have you on the channel to talk about it. And specifically this right here.
Whoa, look at that.
Look at that. We are all worship leaders. It's probably not exactly in focus.
That's better. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. An 8-week devotional for worship teams. This has been beneficial to me, but give us a little spiel of why you made this, and let's talk about it.
Yeah. So I wrote We Are All Worship Leaders, an 8 weeks devotional for worship teams about, I don't know, sometime last year, I think it came out. And basically the reason that I wrote it is because I think devotionals are a great time in your worship rehearsal to lead your team, but they're really hard to come up with every week. Like, you know, that grind of like, okay, I really want to do a devotional at my worship rehearsal, but what am I going to talk about? And so that was sort of the thought process for starting, like, that I want to write a devotional in the first place. And then from there, I reached out to people on Instagram at Leading Worship Well and just put a little poll up that was like, what do you wish that you could teach your team right now? And I got a bunch of different answers. Like, they were all like the typical answers where it's like, okay, I want to teach my team to be prepared. I want them to stop showing up late to rehearsal. I want them to, you know, do this, this, and this. And the common thread that I found throughout all of it was, or the solution to all of those problems, I thought was, if we could just raise up our worship team's understanding of what their role actually is, then all of those other little problems that we always complain about will be solved, because our worship team members will understand that they're not just band members, but they're worship leaders. And there's a big difference between, okay, I'm just going to show up on Sunday morning and play my guitar part, and okay, I'm going to show up on Sunday morning and lead worship. And too often, I think worship team members just think, and we probably reinforce this in subtle ways, like, you're just there to play guitar. But whenever we realize that we are all worship leaders, then our entire team starts to take what they do seriously.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. And it's something that if I would have answered that poll, it would have been the same thing. Like, it's something I wanted to teach my people. And it's something I think I talk about probably more than I do. You know, and I realized, hey, I should say this probably more than I think I need to, especially because we have new team members. And coming out of COVID, we've started to meet indoors, you know, mask required and stuff, in smaller groups, but we've been able to have midweek rehearsal again, which we didn't have. And at the start of that, I wanted to make some changes coming into the new year. And before, I was very concerned about time, and I still am. I'm wired that way. So we would start right at 6 and end right at 7:30, which is still my goal. We've actually been getting out early, so adding this did not do anything to it. But I started doing something. I was being a little more relaxed in our rehearsals rather than making it more like a run through. I actually bought some stools, or should be coming in this week, so people could just sit down, we could talk. And yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I have a million things I could share with my team, and there's so many scriptures that apply, but a resource like this takes someone like me who's pretty busy and is like, I can just walk through this, and this is super helpful, and I can do it each week. And it's kind of comical because I have a different team each week, but I was like, well, we'll probably just keep going through it, like, because
over and over again,
yeah.
until you slam it into their brains.
That's right. Because I'm going to be on week 3 this coming week, but I'm also going to be on my 3rd band, so it's going to be new for all of them. So I'm kind of doing like a review and going through it a little slower. But yeah, it's a huge like relief where I don't have to sit there and come up with something or forget to and kind of do something off the cuff and it not be very thought thoughtful and thought through. And this shows the team that I value them. And it's real quick and easy to go through. So it's been encouraging for me for sure. So thank you, Spencer. And
Yep.
if somebody wanted to get their hands on one, where would they go to get it?
You can go to leadingworshipwell.com/we are all worship leaders. Right there.
There it is.
Jimmy will link that down in the description below. Also, so this isn't just like a commercial.
It's
I do
not.
have something free that I want to give you, and it's actually something that I just put together called the Worship Rehearsal Blueprint. So if you head to leadingworshipwell.com/worship rehearsal blueprint, you can find out the 5 things that I think are essential to a worship rehearsal, and I lay it out in a short little PDF where you can like take that worship rehearsal blueprint, one of those pieces being a devotional, and you can apply it to your worship rehearsal time, and you'll be able to lead your team well spiritually and musically and relationally. So check that out, /worship rehearsal blueprint. Jimmy will link it down below.
Links below, and maybe I'll get my hands on one of those. Hopefully my new rehearsals are lining up with what I should be doing.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's funny because you said you start your worship rehearsals at 6 and end at 7:30, right?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I do with my team. And that's one of the pieces of the blueprint for worship rehearsal is like, it's not even really a part of the rehearsal, but it's having an official starting and ending time.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sounds like you do that really well. And I found that to be super, super helpful in my worship ministry.
Yeah. Cause for my team, I know we have people with families, and usually they're coming, at 6 o'clock. People are driving across town to get there. They just got off work and they haven't seen their families all day. And I got kids, I want to see them. And so I don't know and want to assume what people have going on in their life. I just want to respect their time. And I even say at the beginning, like, we will be done at 7:30, whether we're done or not. Then you go practice at home. We'll be back on Sunday to put it all together. But like I said, doing this, having this more relaxed time, we've been getting done at like 7:15 anyway. So it's been really, really.
Yeah. It's funny whenever you give yourself a limit, it's like you follow that. And what might have taken, if you didn't have a time limit before, what might have taken 2.5 hours before is like, okay, well, we've only got an hour and a half now. And so we're going to get what we need to get done in that time. There's this rule that says that work expands to the time that you give it. So if you give yourself 2.5 hours to do something, then it's going to take you 2.5 hours to do it. But if you're like, I've only got an hour and a half, it'll take an hour and a half because that's all you've got. That's why we like finish our papers in college like the night before. You had 2 weeks to do it, but now you've got a night to do it, and you just
got to do it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. So next topic, because this wasn't a commercial, but I know how it's YouTube. People click off, and I wanted them to be able to hear what I had you on here for. But second thing, I want to get to know you a little more. I want the people to know you. And I know from your Instagram stories that you're an Enneagram 5.
You got it,
man. Yes, I'm an Enneagram 9. So we are. Ew. Why? So 5 is probably my least. I don't know that number very well. So tell me how that shapes you. What does that mean for you as a worship leader? And maybe some other 5s out there could benefit from this.
Yeah. So a 5 is the investigator, which means that we like to research things, and we spend a lot of time researching things because we want to feel competent in what we do by knowing more things. And so that can be a good thing whenever it comes to worship leading, because it allows you to be knowledgeable about stuff. The Enneagram 5s are always like, they describe them as people who just have their nose in a book the whole time. I'm not really like that. I'm more like researching on YouTube or listening to podcasts and stuff like that. And so Enneagram 5s can be great in a worship ministry because they're really knowledgeable about things. But then the negative side of that is that we just consume and consume and consume and consume and never actually apply what we learn. And I was definitely there before. And that's kind of why I started doing leading worship well, is because I just felt like I was consuming and consuming and consuming and never creating anything. So obviously I was applying what I learned in my church, but I still felt like there was more to give. So that's kind of how that's affected my worship leading.
Yeah, that's awesome, because it's all the numbers have like, living in the unredeemed side versus the redeemed. But I think what's great about your personality is being able to think through details, the videos on your channel are all well thought through and they're super helpful. Me as a 9, I go to a 3 in my like redeemed state. And I think, I don't know, sometimes I can get like get it done, don't necessarily think through all the details, or I want to, but sometimes things trump that. And so, yeah, we round each other out. That's good.
Yeah.
So I do have just a fun rapid fire set of questions.
Let's do it.
I've had a couple other worship leaders on the channel and I've been asking the same questions, and it's fun. It's just fun. Yeah.
All right. We'll go as quick as possible.
Quick as possible.
Actually, Enneagram 5s need time to think through their answer. So I don't know how fast I'll be.
You can't. So these are this or that. So cat or dog?
Dog.
Dog. That's been the go-to answer. This is interesting to me. Netflix or YouTube? For
YouTube, 100%.
YouTube. Yeah, man, me too. That's not everybody. Everybody will say this is the common answer, is that if they want to learn something, well, which maybe because you're a 5, maybe you're just wanting to learn stuff, but they're like, if I want to learn something, I'll go to YouTube. But if I want to just relax, I'll go to Netflix or something. And I used to be more like that, but more and more I'm just going to YouTube to catch up on my channels, my subscribers,
Exactly. There's so much good stuff on YouTube.
I know.
I was having a conversation about that with my brother last night. We were talking about how he likes to watch movies, and I always tell him I don't watch movies that much. And he's like, "You just watch YouTube all the time." I'm like, "Yeah, I feel like I feel like the content on YouTube is so much more authentic. Like this, like we're just two guys sitting in our rooms. You're in Carolina, I'm in Pennsylvania, and we're just talking. Like I'd rather watch that than some 60 million budget film. I don't. That's just me.
I get it. Hey, phone call or text?
Text.
Let's see. Okay, so when Spencer is going to just relax, he's got his phone, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter?
Instagram.
I mean, I don't know that. Yeah, you're the Instagram pro. I'm trying. I've been doing a little more stories. You challenged me one time. You're like, dude, you said one time, you're like, just do one a day or something. And I haven't done that very well, but when I'm on there, I try to engage more.
You gotta have a catchphrase to start the morning, like me.
Yeah.
Good morning, worship leader. Today's the perfect day to lead yourself well, lead your church well, and lead worship well. And then that gets me in the mindset to keep making more Instagrams.
And then you're there. Yeah, that's good. It wakes me up every morning. I'm like, now I'm ready to go. Today's the day. All right, music or podcasts?
I'll go music.
Okay. Oh, Apple or Android?
Android.
What phone is that? I don't even know.
This is like a really cheap Moto G Power.
Oh, that sounds.
A big phone guy.
That sounds good.
This battery, though, this is why I got it, because my battery kept dying on my other phone. Yeah. So I got this phone, and it lasts like for literally 2 or 3 days on a single charge. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Back to the music or podcast. What's your go-to non-worship, cleanse the palate music? Do you have anything?
I got to go like pop punk music. I'm a really big pop punk fan. So, I grew up like listening to Yellow Card. There's a bunch more bands that I listen to now, but like Yellow Card style. That's what I'm into.
Yellow Card-esque. That reminds me of me and my wife's early days. Yellow Card, one of the albums had just come out, and it was like the Ocean Avenue, whatever one that was on.
Classic. I'm a little bit younger than you, so.
Oh, yeah.
When that came out.
Yeah, but every time that stuff comes on, I'm like, it takes me back. Me back. Yeah. Let's see. Got a bunch of these. No. Oh, football or basketball? You're a basketball.
Yep. Yeah. Washington Wizards.
Oh, yeah.
On a 4-game win streak right now.
Okay.
First time since 2018.
Nice. That's good. That's right. You also have you wear certain sports stuff, but one time we talked, you're like, you mentioned it one time, and then people just
I have like a bunch of Buffalo Bills stuff, some Buffalo Sabres stuff, like the Buffalo College sweatshirt, and it's just a joke. In my family, they always get me Buffalo stuff because I'm not really into sports, but they get me Buffalo stuff.
Okay, that's the end of that round, but I do have two more questions.
Okay.
Biggest aha moment, something you learned in worship ministry, and part two, maybe they could be the same. Biggest never do that again in worship ministry.
Got it.
I should have given you. Is it easy? Okay, good.
Yeah. So biggest aha moment is that being a worship leader is more about leading people than leading music.
Mhm.
So whenever I first started, which I think everybody does, and this goes back to the devotional that we were talking about at the beginning, like we aren't just musicians, but a lot of us love music. So that's why we get into leading worship, is because we play an instrument. That's not everybody's story, but that was my story. At least I played guitar, so I joined the worship team. And yeah, I would focus on the musical side of stuff.
Mm.
And then eventually I became in charge of a worship team, and I kept focusing on the musical stuff. And then I got a full-time worship leading position, and I realized that what I do every single day is not music related. It's like 10% music related, 90% leading people. So it's about leading people, not about leading music, whether that's leading your teams or leading your church or whatever.
That's so good. And I'm glad you said that. It's so valuable for people to know because, yeah, I mean, worship ministry, it involves the musical gifting. It involves a stage where you're in front of people. And a lot of people are attracted to that position for reasons that are outside of the scope of ministry a lot of times. And so it's good to remember that it's people, and that's the messy part. And a lot of people would like, if it wasn't for the people, it would be great, but we can't look past that. And so, yeah, that's such a good reminder. Even for me, week to week, you get bogged down with whatever you're doing in planning center. And here's a big thing I've been really trying to work on this year is when we're scheduling our teams, we can often be involved with people, but I want to make sure that my interaction with them is not, what can I get from you? Are you available for me? Can you do this for me? But that they know that I've said it enough that I actually care about them. And I think that's part of going through this, taking the time at the beginning of rehearsal to ask them about their life and really check in with them as people, because at the end of the day, they are people. And a lot of times if they need a break, we could let them have a break, and we could lead just from acoustic and still have a great worship service and not have to drain our people. And I never want people to feel like it's all about what I can get from them. So that's definitely, yeah, good word for sure.
And then the never do it again moment was one time I accidentally played How He Loves in 4/4 instead of 3/4 or 6/8 or whatever it's in. So that was a never do that again moment. It was like, I think I was with a church camp that I was like a counselor at. This was like back when I was in high school, so I didn't really know what I was doing. And we visited this nursing home where we were like playing for the residents. So it wasn't on a Sunday morning, and I'm pretty sure that people just loved that we were there. But I ended the song early. We sang like one verse, and I was like, this is not working. This is in 4/4. This isn't the right time signature.
Oh, so, man. I have a similar story. I was a guest leading at another church, and I was singing, I think it was All I Have Is Christ. And our church did a version. I'm pretty sure that song it's been so long now, but it's in 6/8. And I started strumming like a really prominent 6/8 strum pattern, and it wasn't fitting right. Like I should have just done like just down strums to get it. And people were trying to help me sing. And I was like, I could tell I was lost, but I didn't know what to do. And like the band wasn't even my band. Like I couldn't even, they started singing and I was like, yeah, that's it. And I was strumming and it wasn't right. It was very similar. And
it happens.
I just stopped. And then we pretty much sang a cappella until I was like, oh, here. And then I found it. But yeah, that's rough. Well, awesome, man. Tell me a little bit. I see your acoustic guitar all the time, but you got a little stack of guitars back there. Do you ever what's that white?
These are just for funsies.
Is that a double neck guitar over there?
Yes. This is a double neck guitar.
12 string.
My dad got it for me for Christmas one year. I don't really know how to play it. It's not tuned right now. I just put it back there on the rack as a conversation starter. It sounds pretty bad.
Oh, that's perfect.
12 strings of dissonance.
It looks sweet. I wouldn't know what to do with that either.
That's why I put it back there.
That's awesome. What's your favorite guitar?
It's got to be the Taylor that I always play in every video. I bought the Taylor for myself. It's a Taylor 214 CE. I bought it for myself whenever I graduated high school. So
Nice.
in my senior year of high school, I took a position as a director of worship, praise team coordinator. That was the title. I was trying to remember the title. So I saved up all my money from that and bought myself this Taylor 214 CE guitar, and I've been playing it ever since. And I have these other guitars. This acoustic, man, it's hard to point at things looking in a camera. This acoustic is a Martin. I think it's an OMC something.
Okay.
Then I have a Les Paul right there, double neck, Gretsch, banjitar.
Banjitar.
Yeah,
So you get the banjo sound, but you can just play guitar chords.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. That's the only way I'd be able to play it.
Me too.
That's awesome. I just got a new guitar. Haven't really talked about it on the channel yet. So
that's why you brought up my guitars.
Oh, your guitars? Oh, cool. Look at my guitar. Man,
sweet.
It's my first new guitar in like years.
That's nice.
That's just a preview. We'll talk about that later. That's another video. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for coming on the channel. I don't want to make this video too long. Guys, if you want to follow Leading Worship Well, it's Instagram/Leading Worship Well, YouTube/Leading Worship Well,
yep.
leadingworshipwell.com. Go get your devotional for worship leaders. There's also, I got the 2-pack. I don't know if that's offered that way anymore, but
yeah.
There's the 30 days to lead worship well or something.
Yeah. So there's like a personal devotional for you to work through if you want, where it helps you lead worship well.
Awesome. Well, if you guys enjoyed this video, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy it, please hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the little notification bell. You have to tell them to do that because they don't do it.
I never do that. I don't know.
No,
I've never hit a notification bell in my life, but ding the bell for Jimmy.
Ding it. You know what? Now that you say that, I don't think I ever have either. Don't ding the bell. Don't ding the bell. Just hit like and subscribe and comment. Comment down below what your favorite guitar is. I don't know. Anyways, we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Oh, am I supposed to?
Yeah.
Right.
Ah,
wait.
there it is.